Thank you very much. Today we're going to be talking about facilitating collaboration in online learning and online learning with online groups. Let's first think about it. All of our students, how many of us are teachers? How many of us are faculty here at Wayne State? Okay. Ultimately, all of our students are going to go where? Ultimately, where are they all going to go?
Internet to the grave.
No, to work.
To work.
To work. They're all going to go, at some point, they're all going to go to work. Yes, they're going to eventually get to the grave, but before then, hopefully before then, they're going to go to work. And workplace expectations have changed. Collaboration is very, very critical and essential in today's workplaces. Employers are expecting their new hires to possess what they call group work skills. And they need, if we can help them develop evidence whereby they are able to show that they're able to cooperate, collaborate, and complete projects with colleagues, either remotely or at a distance, it's a benefit to our students. What are group work skills? When we start to talk about group work skills, that term is relatively new. But that term talks about the skills needed to work as a member of a project, or as a team on projects and assignments, using the internet or other digital devices. It also includes the employee having the capacity and the ability to do reflective listening, provide constructive feedback, provide and receive constructive feedback, structured discussions, and work as a team to present group presentations and report writing. There are also benefits in the classroom for student collaboration. It encourages students to work together to apply the course materials, to answer questions, solve problems, and create a project. It also encourages students to do peer interaction where they are stimulated to increase knowledge comprehension as well as acquire new knowledge. They learn from each other by working in the teams. And it also may contribute to a feeling of connectedness and community. Now, in an online environment, typically students may or may not know each other. So working as a part of a team, they end up forming small groups that they are communities or learn to depend on each other to facilitate the class. In the facilitating collaboration in online groups, it's an instructional planning model that faculty can use, first of all, to familiarize students with the processes and technology used to collaborate in online environments. Now, keep in mind, many of your students or many of our students are already doing a lot of things online. So what we're going to be doing and what I'm going to be sharing with you today is how to use some of those tools that they have already using in order to enhance the online communication or student engagement in your courses. As well as this project, the model will provide strategies to maximize student-to-content engagement. Sometimes the content that you're working with is really boring. It's boring to you and it's boring to them sometimes, or it's that fundamental material that you got to get through. Well, helping them to use, by using this strategy, it helps them to more engage with the content. There are 3 phases to this particular model. Phase 1 is organizing learners. And by organizing learners, we're going to use what they call in Blackboard a group set that includes the self-enrollment option. And in phase 2 of the project, or the model, is operational and performance expectations for the learner. And then in phase 3, we talk about communication tools. Organizing learners. The first thing we're going to do is organize learners into what we call group sets. Now keep in mind this is an online environment. So how are we going to get them all together? So we create something called a group set. And within the group set there are themed groups. We allow members to self-select where they want to go. That's their first choice. The other thing about that is they all automatically have a commonality with the other people that self-selected into that group. I find that the biggest advantage to having group theme groups and group sets is that it allows for ease in monitoring. I can monitor what's going on a lot better. And in the class that I have now, I have 50 students, but they're all in small groups. So I can see what each group is doing. I can individualize and differentiate instructional opportunities based upon the needs of the members of the group. In one group, I may have a kinesthetic learner. So the activities or strategies that I use to reach the outcome may be very different than those that I use for more linguistic learners. Or it tells me how much information I suppose I should be using and the different strategies and resources that I plop into my modules. I don't know if you can see this all the way in the back, but this is one of the group sets. It's called Professional Learning Communities, that's the group set. And then these are the theme groups. Keep in mind, I'm in teacher preparation, so I'm preparing teachers. So I have students select the group that they want to belong to based upon their interests. Their interests could be K-12, elementary, high school, K-12, all these specials, middle school, and special education. So everything that is they self-selected to it, so immediately when they self-selected to it, everybody in the group is what? Interested in the same kinds of things. So if you're not, think about your content and think about how you'd like to organize your content into areas that students can self-select into. That's the first thing that automatically grounds them. That's the foundation piece. Then this is the actual instruction for that assignment. I tell them what a PLC, a professional learning community is. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with what practices are going on in schools today. I'm preparing teachers for the world of work. In every school, in every city, in every state in the country, they have professional learning communities. It's what they do in a school building. So I am introducing them to the concept of PLCs as a component of this particular course. So what I'm doing is modeling for them exactly what their future workplace is going to look like. All right? So it talks about what the PLCs are. Then these are 2 videos that are embedded in the instructions. The first one is the formal, and I tell them, oh, it's a little boring, but you need to know this. And then the second one is an example, it's a video of a group of teachers that got together and made a video about their PLC. It's really fun. And then there are the instructions for how to join the PLC. When you're teaching online, you have to give students step-by-step instructions. And the more instructions you give them, the less questions they have for you. Yes?
The embedded videos that you have, would they fit in a business class?
Yes.
Because the videos are neutral enough that they're providing the structure. I don't have to be in teacher education to
These particular, we're going to get to those, Geralyn.
Okay.
These particular videos relate to a PLC, all right?
Yes.
Say, for example, if you're in business and you think about, let's say, marketing, all right? So you're teaching an intro to marketing class,
Right.
where marketing has selling, retailing, advertising. So you may create your groups that relate to that. What you do is, then you talk about the different, you can use videos that do introductions to those kinds of things, all right? We're going to, in just a moment, I'll share with you exactly what you're talking about that you can plop right into your course. The other thing about setting expectations, you can only hold students accountable for information that you have given them. Okay? The other thing that is real important is, in an online course, they don't just show up. So you have to make sure that they understand the rules of the game, which I call setting expectations. After I finish the presentation, I'm going to go online to the Blackboard course site and share with you some of these things, okay? But the first thing, we start off with the course web agreement. In the course web agreement, it's a series of items that you agree to if you take my online course. So we all are on the same playing field. Everybody knows what to expect. So these are 2 of the items that are on the web agreement. And these are the two items that relate to group work. That's important because there's so much group work in my class. Yes,
Is it just an honor agreement or it's a formal contract?
it's an honor agreement. I can't do a formal contract. The course syllabus is the contract. But what happens is, if I have issues, you are aware of this. I can only hold you accountable for information I have given you. Again, this is another important notice I put near the beginning of the class. Not everybody welcomes collaborative experiences. I understand that. You have a choice. There's a face-to-face section of this course. You have a choice. However, group assignments and activities are used as an instructional strategy extensively in this online course. If you are truly apprehensive and rather choose a face-to-face section of this course, then the drop-in date is through when? There you go. Okay? And it's posted in several places around the course because I want to make sure that students, they feel they have an out. I'm not forcing you to do anything. I've given you information. I've said to you what my expectations are. But I've also provided you with information so that you can exit gracefully. Sharing the importance and benefits of working with groups early in the course helps set the tone for the particular course. I want to share with you Gateway to College Learning, group work, and then there's some online articles which help establish parameters for behavior. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to give you examples, my students examples of what it is I'm expecting you to do. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to assess to make sure we all have a common awareness level. And it's a quiz that goes over some of the things you're going to see now. This video was created by another group. And so, Joanne, this is a video that is common. Anybody can use.
Okay.
And the two resources I'm going to share with you today that anybody can use.
I hate group work. That's the first thought that many of you have when one of your professors begins a group assignment. It's hard to find time for everybody to get together and meet during your busy schedule. Once you do meet, it's hard to stay on track and not talk about the game or run down other rabbit trails. Then when you actually get some work done, it's hard to decide which path to go down and be able to complete the assignment. Who does what? Some of you go, it's my grade. I don't want other people affecting my grade or my academic career.
Heard that before, right?
Some of you simply just say, I always end up doing everything just so the project can get done. Now some of you are excited when you hear about a group project because you think you can kind of get by with doing little or maybe even nothing. You're the people who make the people who hate group work. Stop it. So why do professors make those assignments? We get it. Group work is hard. It messes up your schedule. So why do we choose to give you those assignments? Chapter 4 is talked about critical thinking. Group work makes you face personalities that you're not used to, that aren't like you. And when you hear those different perspectives, they challenge you to think differently, to think deeply, to think critically. You have some people who are active. You have some people who are reflective in the way they learn. You have some people who are verbal and some people who are visual. So think of a group. Two active, verbal people grouped with two people who are reflective and visual. It kind of sounds like a mess. But what it means is those visual people will be able to explain the information and see the information differently than the verbal people. And when you get together into that learning environment, it challenges you to think differently than you ever have before. Those different personalities, that agitation, we think that will help you understand the material more, better, to think critically about it, to analyze the information differently, to evaluate the information differently. And then as a group, with those different personalities, you create something with that information different than you would create on your own. The second reason that professors give group work is because workforce is dominated by group projects. When you get into the workforce, you're going to be in groups, in companies, working with different people. Many of whom maybe you don't click with. Maybe you wouldn't go hang out with them, get a meal with them, or go to a football game with them. But you're going to be asked to create things that push your company forward. How are you going to deal with people you don't click with? Maybe don't even like. Or when you get into a management position and you get to choose your team, how are you going to choose a team that's not just full of a bunch of people like you who are just yes men? How are you going to make a team that's dynamic and creates and pushes you deeper and deeper on the project that maybe you couldn't even have done all by yourself? So the next time you're given that group project and your first thought is, I hate group work, it's okay. But realize this is an opportunity for you to think differently about the material than you would on your own. To have thoughts and to put a project together that maybe you never would have created if you would have worked independently. It's also an opportunity for you to work on your group dynamics. To figure out how you can encourage and facilitate others' learning as they facilitate your learning. Chapter 4 has some great strategies for group projects, some things to keep in mind. Number 1, don't be a social loafer. Alan Ingram conducted an experiment in which people were blindfolded to play a game of tug of war. When they thought that they were all by themselves, they pulled harder, 18% harder, than when they thought they were on a team. Don't do that. Find what you're passionate about in the project and be a part of it. Number 2, turn in your work as early as possible. Everybody's working on this project. The earlier that everybody turns it in and is ready to put it together, the more refined it will be, the better grade you'll be. Number 3, communicate with your group through email, through text. As you see each other in class, give everybody an update of how things are going. Go above and beyond. This is something that's meant to expand your horizons and to help the group be the best that they can be. And last is be respectful of other people's ideas. You're a part of a group so that you can hear different things that maybe you would have thought of all by yourself. Once you've turned in the project, you've finished with the group, take a few minutes when you're walking to your next class or standing in line at the cap and think about the group. Ask yourself some questions. What worked well? What came together and you were surprised at the finished product? Why do you think that was? Who did you like working with? Why? Was it their personality? Were they really good at getting their assignments turned in early? Who would you work with again? And if you were forced to work with that person, what are 3 things that you could do to help you click better? Your personalities to work better together, to be clear on what assignments are due when and who is doing what. Doing those things honestly might not change your opinion on groups. You might still hate group work. But hopefully, you know that group work is for your good and for the good and the success of your academic and your professional career. Thank you.
The reason why I wanted you to see it in its entirety was so that you could think about how you could integrate that. The University of Oklahoma did that. It's free. And it helps set the tone and foundation for the culture and climate in your learning environment. So it gives students things to think about. Another online resource is the Group Project Survival Guide. It's by Babson University. And it has, it's like a webinar. It walks them through scenarios. And what I've done is for their assessment is combine different pieces of those into a little quiz. They can't progress with any course activities until everybody has 80%. So you can take it as many times as you want to, but you can't move forward until everybody has 80%. Because again, I have to establish that we all have a common foundation regarding expectations for these projects. Here's an example of the assignment instructions. The first thing I say is because everybody hates group work. Oh no, here we go again. Not another group project. Yes, it's another group project. There's the readings, there's the video that you just saw, there's the survival guide, and then it talks about the quiz. And then there's a stop, there's a warning from students in previous terms. This quiz is going to be challenging, so you might want to go back and revisit the information so that you can move forward with it. Phase 3 of this particular model is communication tools. What we do is we scaffold. We scaffold information. We scaffold. We start out with text-based learning management. The LMS is learning management communication tools, email and discussion boards. Then we move to allowing them to select the other resources. For SMS short messaging services or text messages, these are the options that I share with them. Their part of their group is deciding which one, if any, they choose to use. I didn't touch that. Okay.
Oh, no.
It's like, I'm just standing here.
Technology.
Right, I'm just standing here. Okay. Okay, anyway, let's go back to that. So, we scaffold them, we scaffold the whole tool process, the tools that we use for collaboration. We start with text-based things, which are discussion boards, email. Then we move to SMS. Then we move to video group conferencing tools. And there are tons of free applications that they can use that are both web-based as well as digital device-based. And once we get this going, I'll be able to share with you some of those tools. Let's talk about getting started. In getting started, I introduce students to the class introduction activity. Is an activity that introduces them to each other, but it introduces them to each other using the course syllabus and the course content as a foundation. For example, they are to create a trading card. It's a trading card activity. It's all web-based, it's all free. And on the trading card, they answer 4 questions. Question number 1, take a look at the syllabus and share which one of the outcomes will be a challenge for you to make. So that takes them back to the syllabus. It makes them reflect on what they're going to be learning and have a look at it, and then they identify at least 2. The second thing that they take a look at is I ask them, what prior knowledge or experiences have you had related to this course? What that tells me is prior knowledge and experiences. What do you think you know? All right? And using that information, I can tailor some of if I've got students that think that they know all about web design, okay? Then when I get to that piece, I can change the strategies, or I can increase the assignments. I can differentiate my instructional delivery based upon the input that I got from them. You want me to plug my laptop in? I can.
Yeah, if you think that'd be faster, as I really
Because
don't know.
I have no idea what.
I have no
I'm just
idea
standing
either.
here.
It must have been automatically to set updates, and an update was
Yeah.
downloaded and automatically restarted to update it.
I did not bring an adapter, and I got a Mac. I didn't bring my
Let me see if I have. Let me see
Okay.
if I have a
It shouldn't be more than 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how big the update is.
So, okay, what was I talking? Oh, I was talking about the card. Then the other thing that they do is I have them take an online learning style multiple intelligence assessment, all right? And that is links to it in the course. And what they do is they take those assessments so they can identify their learning style. And then they share whether or not they agree with it or they disagree with it. Most of the time they agree with it. But what information does that give me? Tells me what kind of learners I'm working with. Okay?
She's got it there.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I don't know if this one gonna fit. We are in business.
Okay, good.
So with that information, I can take and I can tailor and customize the instructions for my students based upon the type of learners that I have. Now I know you're saying, yes, that's a lot of work. Yes, it is a lot of work. But once you identify and you teach, most of us teach the same courses over and over again, or the same content pretty much. And then what you do is just change activities. If you have assignments and activities that, you just change assignment and activities. You plot this assignment as opposed to doing, say for example, if you have a writing assignment, but you have kinesthetic or auditory learners. Well, as opposed to requiring them to write a paper, have them do a podcast. Have them make a video. So you just plop out one strategy for another strategy. And that helps engage them, and they like that. They truly like that because they feel like they have choice and that you've heard what they've said. Hold on. Then the next thing that we talked about. Okay, go on. Okay. There we go. Cooking with grease. Okay, I turn the monitors on.
How come your Apple computer says blackboard?
Oh, because that's an MVP emblem.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll explain that in a minute. The displays. There we go. Fast forward, how's that?
That's the most incredible technology save I've ever seen.
Thank you. Well, my mother said you can be prepared for the worst, you're good to go. This is where we are. Okay, we're talking about scaffolding. All right, we talked about that. And let's see here. Okay, starting with, if you're doing discussion boards and you move from text messaging, you're moving up to discussion boards. Make sure in your groups that one of the options is to allow members to subscribe to the forum. What that does is once they're in groups, if they're subscribed to the forum, then any postings that are posted to the group, they get. Okay? So that's another way for them to constantly be in communication. In my courses, I have it set up. It's called a communication resource for the PLC. They can use this space for whatever they want to. All right? So you have to provide them with all the tools. How they figure out how they're going to use the tools, and I'm going to share with you how they use the tools. This is just an example of some of the correspondences, but we'll talk about that more in a moment. This is an app called GroupMe. It's a free app. The students download it, add themselves, and they can text message each other. It works beautifully. They love it. Because when they're sitting in your class with their cell phone in their pocket, every chance they can get, they're looking, all right? So they're always engaged and talking with, what that does is it helps them to stay engaged with the content beyond your classroom. Here's a look at some of the conversations. Let me move this out of the way. Here's a look at some of the conversations. If you look at it, you'll see that they're talking about what? What's happening in their course? All right? This is a project that they're working on, and they're talking about it in their course. I asked one of them to send me a screenshot. Let me see how you're using it. They're talking about it in their course. So while they're texting, you know, their boyfriend and their girlfriend, and they're also texting each other. So they remain engaged. This is, I use for video conferencing. The first time they do a video conference, I give them bonus points. And I give them bonus points because I want them to try. I want them to try. I want them to feel that they it's a reason for me to try this. And I don't want it to be a punitive experience, so I don't attach regular points to it. So I make it a bonus point project. And then you'll see when I take you to the course, you'll see that I give them videos of how to use it, the whole 9 yards. So you just go out there and try it. You all can just try it. Let's try it. And they do. And then they get the extra bonus points. Here's some feedback. After the initial roadblocks were cleared, the call served as a very useful introduction to the team. Our group discussed ways that this type of technology could be useful in education. Kim felt that Skype or a similar platform could be used as a way of transporting students to previously inaccessible locations. For example, in a poorly funded school, field trips are often too costly. A tool like Skype could be used to give students the experience of a museum from the classroom. Our video group call was a good experience to get introduced to the team members and to become familiar with Skype. And Skype has a free video conferencing tool. Up to 10 people can be on the same call. And you can pull documents in, take documents out, it's real cool. That's just one. Then the next thing is peer evaluations. Because if they're in group activities, one of the things that I have found is that they feel a need to want to rate their peer members. I'm okay with that. I have found that there's a product, Google Forms is so easy. It is so easy, it's so easy. It was so easy, I was scared it was so easy. I couldn't believe it was just that easy. Okay? This is the instructions for them for their current project is a website peer evaluation. So, you know, this server used award contribution for it. So what I did was, if they had their PLC team, remember we're all in teams, the PLC team, and the value to reflect your perception. Okay? It's your perception, and you're entitled to your perception. To the level of participation. So say there's 5 members in the team, and so I divide the number by the number of people in the team and give them extra points. Give them participation points. All right? And yes, you can rate yourself. So I'm going to rate myself a 5, so at least I know I got 5 points, okay? But at least that way they feel that they have contributed to the team effort. And had an opportunity to share feedback. Because I don't want, well, so-and-so didn't do it, so, no. You have an opportunity to share that information. In conclusion, this model provides students with opportunities to develop those strong work group skills. And it's scaffolded all throughout the course. A copy of the Blackboard content area package for this, I'm going to share it with you in a minute. All you have to do is download the QR code, upload the package into your course, you're good to go. You tailor it, and you all can tailor it how you want it, but the framework is already set there. So now give me a moment, and I'll take you through the course, and you can take a look at some of the things we talked about. Anybody have any questions before I go? Yes.
You know, I missed the intro, but did you say, do you use Collaborate at all? And
Yes.
okay, is this all going through Collaborate, or is this kind of a complementary, you know, this is an approach that Collaborate could lend itself to?
I use Collaborate for class discussions. I don't use Collaborate for group discussions, because what I'm trying to do is give them tools that are free, that are outside the university. Collaborate is university based. I need them to learn how to use tools, a variety of different tools. So they have Google Hangouts, they have Skype video conferencing, they have Voodoo, they have a number of different tools that they can use, because those are not Wayne State University based.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna start with the web agreement. And I'll turn it off so you can see what the students see. And the web agreement is right here. It's a PDF file. And let's see. Alright. So it talks about all different kinds of things. They have it's an understanding. What happens is, if, say for example, I don't accept late assignments ever. Ever, 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 ever. 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 Keep in mind, I have 75 students sometimes if I'm teaching 3 sections. In this particular course, there are 18 assignments. 75 times 18 is how many?
A lot.
That's a lot. I would go crazy trying to keep up with who's doing what. So I can't allow you to have late assignments. But I need you to understand that before we get into the course. So number 9, I viewed the late assignment not accepted video. I'm going to share that with you. And clearly understand that late assignments will not be accepted under any circumstances or conditions. And I will not receive credit, including partial. I have 75 of them with 18 assignments. It's impossible. I can't keep up with that. And I don't get to set the class size for online courses the university does. So if it's 3 sections and the 3 sections are full, I'm stuck with 75. And I'm not willing to compromise the quality or content of the course because they need those tools when they leave me. All right? So, and then they take a test, but I want you to see the little video. Let's see, where's my little video?
I don't say this.
I'm gonna start it over.
Video.
You do the homework and funeral.
Don't be late.
Okay? So, now again, keep in mind, I'm not being mean, but I have to be consistent and I have to have it reinforced on a number of different levels. So that way, but there is another little secret to it. What I also do is, remember my bonus points? I make sure that there's at least enough bonus points in the course to cover one full assignment. Okay? So I make sure that there's at least enough bonus points to make up for one assignment. Because I know what in life happens. But I have freshmen all the way to graduate students in these courses. So I have to be consistent. If I'm not willing to do it for you, I can't do it for you. So I'm consistent. But I make sure, but I don't tell them it's up. You need to make sure you do the bonus points. Because if you do the bonus points, you're going to get there. Okay, the next that I wanted to show you was, we talked about that. Now I have to turn the other feature back on. Group sets. In Blackboard, you can set up groups. And you set up a group, you create, and these are all the group sets. These are the group sets, and these are the names. And as you see, you can put number of students, how many you want, and it's up to you. Because I have such large classes, I have to have larger groups. My preference would be 5 to 7, but because I have such large classes, I have them in groups of 8 or 9. And that sometimes is a little too big, but because other than that, I'd have 15 groups, and I try to keep the group size, my groups at least under 10, all right? So that is, it's very, very simple to set up. You just think about what it is you're doing and think about how you want the thing groups to work. Then I'm going to take you to group one. Group one, and then you probably ask me, are all my groups, once you get them all up and running, they all run really well. They all flow really, really well. This is my current group one. And remember I told you about the group discussion boards? We start out with, this is their first activity. Remember the trading card? Which of the courses, learning outcomes are of most interest to you and why? That gives me information, and that tells me a whole lot. Number two, what preparation have you had as a foundation? That tells me prior knowledge. Number three, what influence do you believe this course will have on your future? It is important for them to find what's in it for me. What's in it for me? What influence do you, and then number four is the multiple intelligence. And then they create a trading card using that resource, and that's a resource that they can use with their students when they start teaching. But it's a foundation. And that's the first assignment. And let's see. What happens is, you know how you have class introductions? This is the class introduction. I don't care what your favorite color is. I don't care when you went on vacation. I don't care what you have for dinner, what your favorite restaurant is in Detroit. That does not relate to this class, so I try to focus everything back on it. The other thing that this does is that because we have such a diverse population, many of our Muslim female students cannot put their images online. So what you have to do is create scenarios where it's not a big deal. You can use an avatar. You can be a pretty blue flower. And it transcends all of those inherent biases that walk in the room with you. Okay? When they talk about those four items, they're not talking about personal things. Well, yes, they are talking about personal things, but they're talking about personal things that relate to what? The class and the content. And they're already with a group of people that are interested in the same thing they're interested in. Let's take a look at one of the trading cards. Let's see. Nicole is always very, very good. These are all Nicole's, and she's talking back and forth with her classmates. Let's take a look at her trading card first. That's her trading card. So she's telling me what it is she wants to know. I'm learning who she is, what resources, valuable information, wealth of information. How do you tally that? We're going to look, get your little piece of paper. How many social? Tick. How many is tick? And you just spend a few minutes writing your little tick marks. And that way you get an image of what your class looks like. Okay? So here, in her dialogue, let's take a look at her dialogue. She's responding to somebody. I haven't always had an interest in working with children. Everything that are in their contents are talking about things that relate to the course or things that relate to what it is we're doing. What it is we're doing. Yes.
This is just one course here that people could take for credit that's offline, as opposed to like University of Phoenix where a person gets a whole degree offline. This is additional tools for either specific courses here that are offline or courses that might have online where they're meeting in class, and some of it's over the internet or through social media.
Hybrid courses. The strategies that I'm sharing with you today can be either done in a fully online course, in a hybrid course, or in a face-to-face course. You can design using these strategies in a face-to-face course, have them do some things offline, have them do some things collaboratively in their groups without doing it in class, and then come back to class. You can flip the classroom on this. You can use blended learning strategies on this. It opens itself to a variety of different instructional purposes. And these are just strategies and tools that I have found to be very effective.
From elementary through PhD level.
I have my graduate students really get into this. They're not as difficult as my undergraduate students. My graduate students, because they have a commitment to education, their education, I don't have to do as much scaffolding. Does that make sense? I don't have to do as much scaffolding. With my undergraduate students, I have to do a lot more scaffolding. With my graduate students, we can skip some steps. The next web-based activity they have is where they do something with that seminar A, section 2, discussion forums, where they start to talk to and engage with professionals in their areas out on the internet. Okay, they join professional discussion groups, content area discussion groups. But what I really wanted you all to see was the community. Remember I told you about the discussion board that we set up for them to have conversations, their own conversations? I didn't read them because I wanted you to see, look at that. They're talking to each other, they're not talking to me.
But did you create those categories, or they're
No,
self-created?
no, these are their threads.
Oh.
They're talking to each other. They're not talking to me. Isn't that pretty cool? They're talking to each other, they're not talking to me. And they chose to use this discussion forum because I set it up for them. Here, you all can talk about whatever you want. But again, remember that you gotta make sure you have the option for them to subscribe to Thread, to the forum, so that way anytime something is posted there, they get it. And they're completing, their current assignment is the group website. So they've been really working on that, okay? They've been really working on that, talking to each other.
Does the subscribe to thread option just go to email, or does it also have an SMS feature?
No, it doesn't happen. What my students have done though is they can subscribe to the thread. The thread goes to their email and they forward the email to their phones. So it works the same way. And they're constantly up on what's going on. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about, let's go back to the Grade Center, is their Skype conference. Ooh, come back here. And where is their Skype conference? There we go. And where's my call? There we go. And basically, out of this group of people, only half of them decided to participate. So half of them got the bonus points. And not every, remember, it was an optional assignment. You can, if you want to, you don't have to. But this is the reflection, their reflection. They went into great detail about how effective they thought it was. This was in preparation for, remember, we're scaffolding. This was in preparation for a project called a wiki project. Anybody ever use wikis?
Wikipedia?
No, wikis. A wiki assignment. What a wiki assignment is that, okay, let me tell you about the assignment, then I can tell you what the wiki is. In public schools, all public schools have to have what they call an acceptable use policy. Acceptable use of technology policy. It's mandated because they get federal funds in order to supplement the cost of the technology, okay? So every school district has an acceptable use policy. What the assignment was for each group to create the ideal acceptable use policy. So what they had to do was figure out who was gonna look at what policies, take the best part of the policy and create their own ideal AUP. Follow me?
Mhm.
So let's take a look at this. So this particular video conference feature was, they could use that to converse, to talk to each other about their wiki project. The wiki project was the goal, okay? These are the tools to get to the goal. And me providing you with opportunities to use the tools in a non-threatening, non-punitive way in order to get you to the goal.
And you gave them extra credit if they use Skype to communicate with each other.
They could have used Skype. I gave them Skype, but they had a whole list of all the tools. They could have used any other tool. The other thing I did was I told them, if you let me know when you're going to be doing it, I'll show up. I'll attend because it's a getting to know you kind of thing.
I mean,
We're
on
testing-
campus, you'll meet them in a
No,
lab?
I'll meet them in the virtual conference. Whichever tool they want to use, I'll show up. Most of the time it was a 10-minute thing. I'm sitting in my home office looking outside with my headphones on talking to my students. Real cool. Real cool.
Nicole said you showed up in that one.
Huh?
Nicole.
Oh yeah.
She
Yeah.
said she wrote in her first paragraph that you showed up on.
Yes.
Dr. Stevens.
Yes, I went. It was kind of cool. All right, let me show you the wiki that they did. Oh, come here, you. Oh, stop it. There's their wiki. And Nicole. This is the wiki that they created. That's the first page. That's the home page. All right? And each one of these is links to additional pages. All right? And they all collaborated on it. Now, you want to, how did they do that?
They had to know how to make their own webpage.
No, this is all built in the Blackboard. This is all built in the Blackboard. It is not brain surgery. It just looks like it is, but it really isn't. Okay? Let's take a look at come here, you. Let's take a look at violations. If you can open the page, edit the page, delete the page, or look at the history. Let's look at the history. These are all the students that were playing around on the page. Keep in mind, they've already met, they've been collaborating, they've been emailing each other. I want to work on this, you're going to work on that, I'll go over and I'll edit it. And this is all, that's the history of it. That's the history of the collaboration. Now for scoring, let's see, for score, come, stop it. Here you go. Come on, anything now. Look at that. That's everybody's work on the wiki. That's everybody's contribution. And then remember the little peer evaluation piece? You plop that on top of it, good to go.
Do they know up front that you have this visibility? Do you have
Oh yes, I showed them a picture. Would you like to see the picture and the instructions? They have a picture of it. This is what it looks like. Again, I can only hold you accountable for information I've given you. And it's not a game. I want you to get there. I want you to be successful. Let's take a look at the instructions. And then I want to wrap it up and ask, let's see, where wiki was in 2A. remember all the videos I talked about? This is their actual assignment. So see all the videos in there, that give them the videos on how to use Skype. Everything that they need to know is right there. Where is it? Copy. Actually, what I did was I took a screenshot of one of the participation screens, and I had to white out last names because of confidentiality. And then I posted that picture right with the group.
Okay.
Okay? So everybody, she can see you. Yes, I can.
Right.
Okay? So I'm running over, so I'm going to wrap this up. I think that I have shared everything with you. Also, as it relates to the wiki, not only do you have the history, but on each one of the wiki pages, their students can write comments, and you can monitor their comments. And as an instructor, you can see where they're going. So if they're going off a little bit, you can redirect. And it's all done electronically. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Yes, sir.
You say this is an online course, but then you have like a face-to-face part for people who don't want to deal with the group work. Is that correct?
No, you have to participate in the group work. The face-to-face, we don't have really there is no, here at Wayne State University, if it's an online course, there can be no mandatory face-to-face experiences. Now, in the group, if the group chooses they want to meet, that's the group. But I, as the instructor, cannot mandate any face-to-face activities.
Must have something I misread earlier.
Yes.
No, you said there was a different course. That
Oh,
they
a
can
different
take
course, right.
face-to-face course.
Right. There's
or an
two sections
online
of this
course.
course. It's a face-to-face section and an online section. If they're apprehensive about doing things in an online course or doing the collaboration requirements, they can sit in the face-to-face course. Did that answer your question?
Well, my question was, if the group work is such a vital skill, why give them the option to opt out? Or is it just because there's like more to the course than the collaboration is the information itself, so you'll just let them work how they feel comfortable?
Well, no, because people have choices. And they need to understand what my expectations are so they can make a conscious choice. And a lot of students don't want to deal with collaboration, don't want to deal with group projects. They don't want to do that. I give you the opportunity to opt out. And that's fair. But if you stay in, then you're expected to do group projects.
The course is about technology in the classroom, not just group work. That's just one part of it.
That's just one
So
part of it,
I can-
yes.
I may be learning other stuff in the
You're
face.
going to learn a whole lot of other stuff,
Right.
and group work is one of the instructional strategies.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you showing this. I use, Blackboard's a private company that makes software that it leases or sells to university.
Blackboard is a company that
The software company that,
has a learning management system.
I was
Blackboard
at
is,
State University of New York and we use Blackboard. And I was at University of Michigan, we use something different called
yes, they're all
sequels.
called, right, they're all called learning management systems. And the
I was at a job fair, I saw there, and once I saw Blackboard hiring computer programmers.
yes, the functionality behind all learning systems should be the same. What you're doing is just delivering content in a virtual environment or teaching in a virtual environment. And these are just some of the tools that are embedded in Blackboard, but the strategies can be used with any learning management system. It's the strategies. What I was sharing today is instructional strategies.
But if a person wanted to integrate into the classroom, that the school didn't have a contract with Blackboard, they, I don't know if you know the different software options, the different companies that, I assume Blackboard's kind of expensive. If a person wanted to integrate this software in the elementary classroom or something, would it be Blackboard they'd use, or there's cheaper?
There's a free product called a Moodle, all right? And Moodle is very, very similar to Blackboard. It's free. And you can integrate these strategies in Moodle, but you can also integrate these strategies in a face-to-face course. You can integrate these strategies in a blended course. the different strategies that were shared today can be used anywhere to facilitate working with students in online groups using virtual resources.
Question from Ms. President?
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.